Rack them up, stack them up, rack them up, stack them up, rack them up, stack them again. I hope your delivery drivers got a chance to make you plenty of money today because I sure did. Now, we're going to get into a great topic. This Memphis barbecue bracket has been one one heck of the event that's been going on in the thing. So I know everybody, that's what you're here to see, what's going on and what has happened. I want to talk about it briefly, then we're going to go into our predictions that we did last night. Those that didn't get a chance to see that episode, you would have to go to Ballhoggerz site, YouTube channel, in order to see that video right there. We was broadcasting last night around about the same time I'm broadcasting tonight. So let's go ahead and dive into this thing right here. First, I want to go ahead and thank all the subscribers, new subscribers that watch us, old subscribers that still watch us. We thank you for supporting this channel and allowing us to be able to do this type of content and bring this type of content to the platform in the gig economy, as well as when we do food reviews with the other community. The two finalists in the commercial appeal Best BBQ in Memphis bracket is Central BBQ and the Commissary. The final round of voting runs from June the 2nd to noon, June the 5th, as you see on the tickler at the bottom of the screen. And the winners will be announced on June the 6th. So what I'm going to go ahead and do right now, I'm going to play a portion of that video right there, where we talking about who we think going to be the one that was going to go to the finals. All right, we can be able to turn the volume up, and we're going to let you listen to this video here. Be able to pull up who was versus who in that thing. Here we go. Let's see. Okay, in match one, you're not going to be able to see it on my screen. Cozy Corner versus that first match against, it was in round one against the Barbecue Shop. So the Barbecue Shop advanced into the second round. And then Payne's was against Nil, right? And then Payne's advanced to the second round. And then you had yourself in One and Only in match three. One and Only advanced to the second round. The Commissary and Corky's, they faced off in match number 4. They advanced to the next round, which was the Elite 8. So on the other side of the bracket, it was Bain versus Memphis Barbecue Company. So Memphis Barbecue Company advanced to the next bracket, became in the Elite 8. Then you had A&R and Arnold's. A&R advanced to the next bracket, and you had Central Barbecue that was against the Rendezvous. That's who beat the Rendezvous was Central Barbecue. Yeah. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Then you had Tops and Leonard's, and then Tops matter of fact, Tops eliminated Leonard. And then it was Central Barbecue against Tops, and Memphis Barbecue Company against A&R. Memphis Barbecue Company advanced into the semifinals. Central advanced to the semifinals, as well as the Barbecue Shop and the Commissary.
Well, look, are there any restaurants that you think they left out of that 16? Are there any personal barbecue restaurants that you think should have been incorporated with them 16 that you would have voted in there?
I'm looking at Baines. I'm looking at
I'm saying outside of that list, would it be any other restaurant that you would have put in that top 16?
I would have basically want to do a new thing, a new update, because some of them restaurants, I tried them before the pandemic. I hadn't been to them since then. Some restaurants, food has changed after the pandemic. Some restaurant food got better, some got worse. I want to be able to do a new update so we can give a fair assessment on that.
But I'm giving you an honorable mention. You got to give me one other restaurant to put in that top 16. One other barbecue restaurant. You got to give me one more.
Tom's Barbecue.
All right, Tom's honorable mention.
Tom's Barbecue.
There you have it, Tom's Barbecue.
All right, so from there we got out of the 16 participants that was in this barbecue bracket contest, at least 5 of them was inducted into the Barbecue Hall of Fame. So I'm going to deal with the one. I'm going to deal with probably all of them. I got to look it up and everything. Go ahead, brother, and do your assessment of this bracket contest as well while I'm looking this information up.
Okay, you said 5 of those. You said 5 out of the 6 were in the Hall of Fame.
5 out of the 16.
I take out 5 out of the 16 were in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. How many are still? How many? Do you know how many still in there?
Well, how many is it? How many of them that's
How
in?
many Hall of Famers are still in the competition?
Only one. Only one. That's the Memphis Barbecue Shop.
Okay.
Memphis Barbecue Company. Excuse me. Melissa Cookston. She's the owner of that restaurant there. So she got it. She got it in 2023. All right, I'm gonna stop it right there. It was actually 2017, but we're gonna go ahead and proceed with this here. We're giving you a little backstory of the event that how they got into the 16, how the 16 participants was able to get in this bracket. This is the first annual, commercial appeal Memphis barbecue bracket, and they got voted in. They sent out, in the newspaper, vote for your best nominees that you want to be in this bracket, this contest, this tournament. So that's how a lot of them got involved right there. And then they had to vote for each round that proceeds. So their favorite place that they like to eat barbecue at to be able to advance to the next round, be able to advance to the next round, and then get to the final round. As you can see right here, I'm gonna go ahead and play a little bit more of this footage right here.
They didn't have Leonard's barbecue in there, did they?
No.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and look that up while you go ahead and talk about the final 4. Matter of fact, before I do, I gotta make this is the reason why I had to make my change on my decision on who I think may win it, and I also talk about it in the headlines of our next video for episode 3. They might be the ones that might upset everybody, the Memphis Barbecue Company, because they got a whole lot of good backing down in DeSoto County, so they might just squeak it through. My main pick was of the barbecue shop. Central BBQ, but Memphis Barbecue might sneak it in. It's going to be it's going to be a very close race. That's due to my opinion on the history of what was going on here, and then the new information that I found out about the strong backing that they getting from DeSoto County. Commissary getting a strong backing too, because they doing a whole lot of advertising and promoting. But like I said, we did, both of us said that as we looked at it from our perspective, the shoe-in would be, the barbecue shop. It still may be. But if there would be anybody to be the one out of these 4 to be the upset, it would probably be Memphis Barbecue Company.
Right. And who do we have in the top 4 right now?
You have the barbecue shop versus the Commissary, Memphis Barbecue Company versus Central Barbecue.
Okay. All right. Barbecue shop. Okay. Well, yeah. So our predictions will go to the finals, which was the barbecue shop and Central Barbecue. But you saying that you think Memphis Barbecue Company will come in over the barbecue shop?
Well, I'm saying that Memphis Barbecue Company will beat Central.
Okay.
And it will be Memphis Barbecue Company versus the barbecue shop.
Yeah, right. Okay. Nah.
All right, I'm gonna stop it right there. It's a little bit more that I want to play of this, but at that time when we was talking about it, we had voted for the barbecue shop versus Central Barbecue. As I have just announced that it's the Central Barbecue versus the Commissary that's going to the finals. starting June the 2nd through the 5th will be those days you need to vote. And by noon on June the 5th, all your votes should be, put in, because that's going to be the deadline for it. So we also talked about who was going to, upset and wind up being in this bracket. But our first choice was the barbecue shop versus Central BBQ. Central BBQ did advance. Let's hear a little bit more of this video right here so you can be able to understand what we were doing in the breakdown analysis of who we thought would be in the finals.
I don't see barbecue company beating out Central BBQ. I have to go and take it and say, if I was to recant my final verdict, I had to say the Central might have to take it. Just because Central, with their expansions and everything that they're doing, their locations that they have, they really kind of got it all around, because they just built a new, they just renovated and built up their new establishment in Midtown. So now they have a larger place for people to come in and dine, and they have more patio seating and stuff like that. And as far as their downtown location, they're pretty much based everywhere all over the city. So they probably give Memphis Barbecue Company, which is a little bit outside of the city, just right outside of the city.
Right.
Kind of hard to compete with something that's 3 times based inside the city. So I think that I have to be given to Central Barbecue on that. You know what I'm saying?
And he was exactly right. With that knowledge that he have as being in the restaurant business and doing this for 20 years, over 20 years, he gave a great breakdown analysis how if it be an upset, Central BBQ would be the one to win the finals. So we're going to go ahead and play a little bit more of this here.
I see. Yeah. And then them going up against, I guess we both think the barbecue shop will win over the Commissary. That's who they in the competition with.
Yes. The only way they won't will be because of the push the Commissary been doing in the last few rounds.
I would tell you something. They've been promoting and sponsoring like nobody else I've seen.
Ding. That's exactly what happened, ladies and gentlemen. That's why they was able to beat the barbecue shop. Central beat Memphis Barbecue Company by a landslide. It wasn't even close. But it was real close between not Central, but the barbecue shop and the Commissary. Commissary got the edge because they started promoting. They was promoting them to the round. Listen to what we get ready to transpire as we agree. If it was going to be any upset, that's where it was going to take place.
I'm not going to lie. Commissary got ads and social media on lock. They coming down my timeline. They got sponsored ads. They got the easy links where you can vote for them. So they really pushing it and making it as a thing to try to be number one. So if they marketing and their promotion pays off, they might give it a run for their money, because I haven't seen any promotion coming from the barbecue shop. They might be a sleeper where they think that they just might got it in the bag and be underestimating their competition.
That's a good insight. That could be the upset right there. That's a good insight there. They've been pushing it. They just got through putting a video out on Facebook. Thanking everybody for getting them in the Elite 8. I just saw that before we did this show tonight. Yeah. So it's just like if I'm promoting myself and you're not promoting yourself, people want to know more about me. You might go back off of your historical events of, the awards you done won and all of this. Like I said, we have some Hall of Famers in here. They didn't make it in the top 4. You had Payne's Barbecue. They was inducted in the Hall of Fame. Cozy Corner. They was inducted in the Hall of Fame. You see, you got Memphis Barbecue Company was the only one left out of the 16 that was inducted in the Barbecue Hall of Fame. And also, it was one more. I'm trying to think who it was. It was right off the top of my head just then. I just missed it. It'll come back to me.
With Rendezvous, right?
The Rendezvous. That's correct. world renowned, world famous, Hall of Famer, didn't make it in the Final Four. So, it still could be anybody's, thing.
You still got
Either one of them. Go ahead.
Yep. No, I was just saying you still got other barbecue places out there that didn't get nominated either, like King's Place, BB King's, stuff like that. So there's a lot of other joints that didn't make it neither. So you got to take that into consideration. It's not about the best barbecue; it's about popularity and who's known the most. So,
That's true. That's true. That's true. And so, like I said, it was a lot. Like you said, there's a lot of great ones didn't make it. Blues Cafe. They fixed pretty barbecue. Well, this was before the pandemic. They had some outstanding ribs. Okay, now I'm getting ready to break down some of this conversation we had last night. Go check that video out. We talked about a whole lot of powerful things about restaurants and all of that. And he also mentioned about the businesses that was closing. And I sent him some information earlier, and we're going to talk about it in episode 4 about there's over 100 businesses have closed here in Memphis, Tennessee. 100 businesses, virtual kitchens, all of that. 100 businesses in 2 years closed. Okay, a lot of those restaurants was partnered up with DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats. Okay, with those restaurants gone, that's 100 restaurants that drivers are not able to go to now. Okay, customers not ordering from there. Okay, so now you done lost these clients, and you lost your customers from these restaurants. Some of them were high end, mom and pop shops. And when that happens, you losing money. My question tonight is for those that see the video tonight and who may see the video in replay, think about your market. Because I didn't know it was over 100 restaurants closing their doors. Okay. And drivers wondering why they not making the money they used to make. These are the effects of the things that myself and Pitmaster Bailey going to be talking about. He's going to tell it from the restaurant perspective. I'm going to talk about it from the driver's perspective. Now the community beginning to understand why we must bridge the gap. There's a lot of information we don't have, we don't know, and we're wondering why we're not making money. I talked about it in my Grubhub videos, okay, how much money that I was losing going to restaurants that didn't have the tablets on anymore, and restaurants that was closing, that were Grubhub merchants and my Grubhub clients. I lost quite a bit of my repeated clientele from those restaurants because they closed their doors, like East meeting West. Okay. I did a food review at Elmore Shack. Not Elmore, but Elwood Shack. They was also a Grubhub merchant. I had clients ordering from there. They closed their doors and talked about closing their second restaurant as well. So how many of you in your market haven't realized the restaurants that's closed or the virtual kitchens that closed, where you was making lucrative money during the pandemic? Now it's after the pandemic, these restaurants are closing up, which means that if they shut down, that means that we're not making money. If they didn't make money, that means we're not making money anymore. If they closing their doors, we done lost money. Now, how do we come back from that loss? From that loss. having super saturated markets and more drivers are getting hired on these platforms and everything. And we losing restaurants as our clients. There's over 100 plus here in Memphis. Okay, Cookie Canuck. They used to be out there on Wolf Chase. We're going to say Germantown Parkway. They're closed. Bahama Breeze. They're closed. It's just a few I'm talking about that closed their doors. I think Salsarita, they closed. Then there was another little restaurant, I think it was Pimento something, it closed. You know, these restaurants was where drivers was making a lot of money at. Now those restaurants are closed and you have lost those clients that order from that restaurant as well. And it put a damper on how you make your money. You see, so with Grubhub, especially Grubhub is the slowest app out of the three. I still make my money, but I had to do things different than I did last year. Now, with this knowledge, drivers that you need to know, not only in the Memphis area, but throughout the United States of America, in your city, in your market. How many of these restaurants closed, doors are closed, that you used to make real good money at, and you didn't have to go running all over town, but you had that one go-to spot right there. I can use an example. I used to go to Chick-fil-A right there in Olive Branch. They still open though. But used to go there, and I used to make most of my money right there at Chick-fil-A. How many of your drivers can resonate with that there? 23 orders in one day coming from Chick-fil-A. I didn't have to worry about bouncing around everywhere at Chick-fil-A. During the pandemic, Old Charlie, Chili's. All we had to do was work them two restaurants right there between dinner, lunch rush, especially dinner rush. Them 4 hours in dinner rush, you didn't have to go nowhere but at them spots right there. You would get a stack order at Chili's, a stack order at Old Charlie's before you even leaving out of there. You getting a stack order from there. And the stack orders we used to get back then was paying $40 to $80 or more, just like you was having a catering order. In today's era, what we do, some of the catering orders, money that we made, we used to make it off stack orders alone, not including the catering orders. So when everybody, once this curfew was lifted up, lockdown was lifted up, people started going ordering their food. Okay, that hurt us drivers right there. But with restaurants closing their doors, they even hurt us more. In some markets more than others. Had you ever even considered that? I know I didn't. I didn't know it was that many restaurants. And we planned on doing an episode on it with the facts, with the news channels talking about it and all of that. Because that's some secret sauce right there. Drivers need to understand now how they got to adjust. You see, when you lose that many restaurants, and certain restaurants had three ghost kitchens in there. So if you lose that restaurant, you also lost them three ghost kitchens. That's four restaurants in one right there. You done lost business with it. And the clients that ordered from all those different platforms, you losing money because their business went out of business. What's causing these business? Why is these business closing their doors? Okay, that's something that I got to do some research, and he's going to do some research, and now it sounds like it's going to be a case study. And I'm glad that I met him and we were able to talk about that last night on his show. Go to his channel, Ballhoggerz, and you're going to see that episode right there. We was talking about the changes that may take place, who may be the upset in the final four. We discussed that the commissaries was pushing, advertising, promoting all over all the social media platforms as possible. Look where they are right now. They in the finals. Now you got Central BBQ. They in the finals. We talked about it in the first episode, our first episode together, that Central was going to be there. So I retracted because I thought Memphis Barbecue Company was going to take it out. Now, the sleeper was Commissary took out the barbecue shop, but it was a real close race. It went down to the wire. But with Central and Memphis Barbecue, just like he said, it wasn't even a contest. It wasn't even a contest at all. So there's a whole lot of powerful. Let's say they still on point. There's a whole lot of powerful information here in this video that we sharing a whole lot of jewels in. Information drivers need to know. Information customers need to know. Okay. That's the reason why I started doing food reviews again. I did food reviews 3 or 4 years ago. Okay. When I first started doing them, I was doing them with cornbread. Okay, was doing with cornbread. Cornbread told me, much as you like to eat out and everything, man, you need to do reviews. A whole lot of people, 20 to 30 people was telling me, man, why don't you just go ahead and do reviews, food reviews, add them in the arsenal. I said, well, it's not in my phase of my plan right now, but I will come back to them. I wanted to do the case study on DoorDash, and I did a case study on DoorDash almost 2 years. I'm doing a case study on Grubhub. I'm doing a case study with my food review. Building relationships with business owners, entrepreneurs, pitmasters, chefs. They got businesses open. You will be hearing more of them on both of our shows. And plus, I got another channel. People start subscribing to that channel because all of the barbecue content going to be going over there. Let me see, can I pull it up? Let's see the bag out of that. Be sure to check that episode out right there. Best in Barbecue, Memphis Bracket Breakdown. And I was his guest on the show. And I thank him once again for allowing me to be the guest on the show, introducing me to his viewers. And I'm glad to be able to collaborate with him. Now, let's move over and go up. We can go right here. And we can go right here. I will be putting more content up. First episode was this one right here. Memphis Barbecue Showdown, the Final Four. When you go there, I got timestamps, all of that powerful information is in that video right there that's going to turn the light bulb on in your dark room. And then the episode that we did last night, you need to check that out on his channel because we will be doing episodes on my channel as well as his channel. And then once I upgrade in StreamYard, hopefully we can be able to be, simultaneous. It might be a loophole around that. I don't know. But the plan is that we want to be able to live stream at the same time on both channels. So be sure to check out that episode. That's episode 1 with me and him together. Episode 2 was last night. This is episode 3. So let me go ahead and go to my new channel right there. All right. Right there. And as you see it there, that's where all the barbecue content gonna be going. It's so much about barbecue, it'll blow your mind like landmines. And that's where we want to be at when we do most of our barbecue content. So we will be doing barbecue content, food reviews, behind the scenes, information that drivers need to know during the Memorial Day weekend and everything. Those 3 days, because I took Memorial Day off, but those 3 days during the weekend, all my clients was from the 16 participants in the commercial appeal Best Barbecue Bracket Competition. I also want to thank Commercial Appeal and their team for coming up with this idea. It will hold restaurants accountable, and they will want to have that prestigious title knowing that they won it in the commercial appeal bracket. Plus, they get a chance to have their story put in the commercial appeal as well. So I hope they do it again next year so we can be able to do this again next year as well. And as you see down in the tickler, and plus two, I want to be able, I don't think I can show it, but I probably had to show it on the tablet. Because I'm going to be doing timestamps. I'm going to be putting links in there. A lot of powerful information to know. His channel is going to be in that link. My channel is going to be in that link. This channel right here. Subscribe people to the channel to get this powerful information that will also help drivers. I know a lot of drivers, what it got to do with me? It's got a whole lot to do with you. It's the information that you know about, don't know about, costing you money. This is the information you don't know about, okay, to where you can't make the right decisions to maximize your earnings too. With this powerful information that we're going to be bringing to the table from both ends of the platform, it's going to not only help drivers, not going to only help restaurant operators, but also, your customers as well. We apologize with the focusing on the camera. They're not focusing like it should be. I apologize for that. But it's very imperative, ladies and gentlemen, when you're getting into this type of information, this type of secret sauce here, it helps you not waste time not making money. And you're trying to find out why you're not making money. Without that information, how you going to know how to navigate around that particular problem? When in this city here, we done lost over 100 restaurants, including virtual kitchen, ghost kitchens. I done went to an abandoned place the way they said it was a ghost kitchen there. It's boarded up and everything with gang graffiti and all of that. I done went to at least 5 of them. You see, so it's just how you got to find out why you're not making money and where you losing money at. With that information going on, I know that our city is not the only city that restaurants are closing their doors. Now drivers can sit here with this powerful information and find out. All you got to do is Google and find out. All you got to put down there is this here. Let me share this with you. And then we're going to talk about the competition a little more. This has a whole lot to do. It's bringing a whole lot of insight to what we do in our business, how important business etiquette is, how important customer service is, how important professionalism is, how important great communication is. That's a powerful video. Everybody need to check it out. Drivers, you need to check it out. You may sit there and say, man, I'm not going to learn anything from you. Be amazed. It's going to blow your mind like landmines. So that's what you got to do. Let me see. Let me go to Google. I have notes and all of that, so I do it on the let's see. Hopefully we got it here. Why so many restaurants in Memphis are closing their doors? So all you gotta do is ask a question like that, and then AI gonna tell you all the difference and everything. And Commercial Appeal put up a thing right there in Memphis. Right here said, why so many Memphis restaurants permanently closed in 2004. All right, let's go ahead and dive into just a little bit of it. Oh no, they want me to do that. I can't do that. I'll pull it another way. It'll be in the next episode, but we're going to talk about a few of the things scratching the surface. Several factors contribute to the closures of restaurants in Memphis, including the rise in costs, staffing shortage, and crime concerns, particularly in downtown areas. Inflation and high food prices and real estate costs make it difficult for restaurants to stay profitable. Oh yeah, we got a lot of powerful information there that we're going to be doing in the next episode. All the reasons we're going to be talking about, reason why restaurant operators is closing their doors. We may even find restaurant operators that used to be in business, they're not in business anymore, may be on this show to give that powerful information and insight. And why did you have to close your doors? You see, and all of that. So it's very, very, very serious out here. You don't want to waste your time as a delivery driver chasing hot spots. Coming to find out when you go to certain restaurants, the doors are closed. The doors are closed. And you're losing money that way. You're losing money that way. When you're being taken out of the momentum of orders being given and getting assigned to drivers, you messing around with, I'm going over here, the door's closed. I'm going over here, it's closed. I'm going over here, it's closed. You done lost money in that 2 hours. Very powerful information. So what would be my prediction on who will win it between the Commissary and Central BBQ? We talked about if it would be anybody that would be an upset to win it. It could be Memphis Barbecue Company. It could be the Commissary. Commissary did exactly what we talked about. They got over the hump. We know how they got over the hump too. We talked about it in that episode. Okay. So they got momentum on their side. Commissary got momentum on their side. Central BBQ got more locations than the Commissary. Okay, they just built a new one in Midtown. He talks about it in that video. Be sure, ladies and gentlemen, and check that video out. Like I said, there's a lot of powerful information there. Let me see, can I bounce back up this so you'll know where to go? Let me hear clear. Be sure to go to Ballhoggerz BBQ restaurant. He's a member of the Memphis Barbecue Network. He won a lot of awards. I'm going to be talking about them awards too. He participated in the Memphis of May Flava Faceoff 2025. Matter of fact, we're gonna go to his channel right quick. All right, let's see, can I find it? Matter of fact, is that him? Oh, let's see. That's not the one I actually want to show, but he was showing when he was there. He's doing the walkthrough on that one. But it's another one that he did. He was in the contest. He was in competition. Let's see, can I find out? I was looking at that earlier. It's amazing how when you look at things early, here it is right here. No, that's the one when he was in the interview. I can't pull it up. But I'll be doing it in the next video. I don't know why I don't see it here. Saw it earlier when I was in here. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna chase that one down. But I'm gonna do it in the next video and everything. I know it's in my community post. You can find it in my community post as well, where he was competing and he was doing a bacon wrap, and the other participant was doing a bacon wrap. So I'll show that footage and everything there. The importance of being able to build relationships with business owners, restaurant owners, and pit masters and chefs and all of that. They can give you a whole lot of insight, on how you can make your money. Because if they having problems, you having problems too. And I talked about that in one of my other videos about Crockpot. When I first was getting orders from Crockpot and everything, hour and a half, 2 hours, customers canceling their orders, all of this. I'm losing money on Grubhub. I put them on my blacklist. One day the light bulb came on. So, okay, I'm talking about they got a problem, but actually their problem is my problem. So how do I resolve both our problems? I started reaching out, calling the restaurant. Then they started doing the same thing. That saved a whole lot of time, and we still was able to fight for the orders, was able to distribute the orders to the good paying customers and repeated clients and all of that. Now when I go over there, it's like clockwork for me. I'm making money now versus what I wasn't making money at first. So there's a whole lot of things you got to learn when you get in this business. You got to do your own case study, your own research, your decision making, and all of that. Okay, build relationships with your clients. We talked about that in that video there. You will hear from his perspective as a restaurant operator. You will hear from my, perspective as a driver. We can't be biased in our community talking about this. It's all about drivers only. It's all about drivers only. You know what I mean? So if we keep that short-minded mentality, you're not gonna make the money you're supposed to make. And the way that we used to make money back then, we got to change it, ladies and gentlemen, or we're gonna be losing business. We're gonna be able to prove that in our research and our case studies with these food reviews, along with these drive-alongs, these ride-alongs, along with what apps that I work on. Okay, this is the information that needs to bridge the gap in the community so we can continue on making money. As an independent contractor, we don't want to burn the bridge to where we can't make money or any other drivers. There's so many scenarios out there that hasn't been covered, that hasn't been addressed. What if information, unanswered questions that we trying to find today that can help you maximize your earnings, but still you riding around or sitting around not making any money. Check in your own markets and see how many restaurants done closed their doors. That information itself is very powerful information you need to know. Those restaurants had virtual kitchens, which means ghost kitchens. Some had 3 along with them. That's 4 businesses, right? Opportunity of making money at that restaurant right there. 4 multiple streams of making income from that one restaurant right there that you're not able to make anymore. You may have 50 of them closed in your market. 4 times 50 is what? 200 opportunities times the number of customers that order from there. Now you don't have that opportunity to make that money anymore. Information like that is powerful information, especially for the new and beginning drivers. It's very competitive out there, right? So that's my prediction of the Commissary versus Central. Now I tasted Central food. Okay, the Commissary it's been a while since I tasted theirs. I remember when we did go, it was right before the pandemic. My wife had their wings. She liked their wings. Okay, then the barbecue company. She was like, that was the best thing popping since sliced bread. Took her to Central. She's like, wow, they better Central better than the barbecue company. Then took her to Bang. She was like, these the best ever. You see, so my thing is that some restaurants have fell off after the pandemic. They lost staff members, and staff members are the chefs and the cooks. The chef that was preparing that real good, delicious meal, before the pandemic is not there now. Staff shortage, losing staff, good workers, good hostess, good greeters that come to you and make you feel like you at home. Gave you the experience where you wanted not only to come back, but you wanted to give a tip. You may even tip more because of the personality of that person, how they treated you with a VIP service. Okay. Drivers, we got to do the same thing for our merchants. We an extension of their business. Our clients is the customer that order the food from them. So the merchant is our client. The customer that order food from them is our client. We are an extension of that business. And if they lose that client, we lose money as well. That's the moral to the lesson of this information that we provide this evening. Do you want to be the problem, or do you want to be the one that solved the problem? That's the question. You see, these vital points that we're making in this video tonight can maximize your earnings. It'll help you make better decisions on how can I keep my repeated clients. Okay. If you don't know how to keep your repeated clients, you're going to lose business. And if you're going to lose business, you're going to go out of business. That's the bottom line. Okay. That's why we doing what we do. There's people out there trying to say I'm duplicating what they doing. Nah. If you look at them and look at me, you're gonna be like, no, it don't match up. This guy right here, he's tying in the restaurants. He's tying in the customer. He's breaking down the important things behind the scene. Okay. We don't see no duplication here. Yes, others turn light bulbs on in my dark room, but God gave me the creative senses to go in the direction I'm going in. You see, so you have to push on and continue giving good content that's going to help viewers. I'm not out here to compete against any content creator in my niche. I don't need to. You see, I'm in my own lane that God got set for me. And He will put people in your path that will have a like-minded attitude in wanting to bring value and help the community. That's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. It's not to outshine nobody, not at all. But I'm gonna let my light shine, and it's gonna help somebody. I'd have been told, well, maybe your light is dim and somebody else's light. Nope, it's just my time and season to shine my light to help those that need the help. Yeah, you're gonna have people that don't like you. You're gonna have people that just don't like you. That's part of life. How do you overcome them circumstances and still be positive and stay on the course that you need to stay on? We got a lot of information there. So, Commissary versus Central BBQ. I want to lean more towards Central because of the consistency of when I go order chicken, pulled pork, nachos. I know I'm going to have a good experience with the food. And the server going to give that service every time. Genuine service make you feel like you at home, you're in a place to where, okay, we can relax. You don't want to go to a restaurant and come out more stressed than you were before you went in there. That's a bad experience. So if you have a bad experience, you're not going to go back. So what about our customers? If a customer have a bad experience with a driver or with a whole lot of drivers on the platform, you think they're going to continue on ordering food on that platform, or they're going to go to someone else's platform, or they're going to start picking it up themselves? And they're only going to leave kibble of bits for us to make. And kibble of bit money is too hard to make. It's so much hard work trying to put that $5, $6, $7, $8 together. It takes too long to make that money that way, right? You got to know how to make your money by making the right decisions out there. You got to take care of your business in order for your business to take care of you. You got to take care of your clients so your clients will take care of you. That's the message we're putting out there, ladies and gentlemen. So who has the best barbecue in town is down to the finale right now. The Commissary versus Central BBQ. June the 2nd through June the 5th. Put your votes in. In my descriptions, I'm going to put the links in the description. We're going to put down the BBQ Hall of Fame link. We're going to put down the Memphis BBQ Network link. Ballhogger link will be in there. Hoggers. Pitmaster BBQ Grill and Thrills will be in that link. Commercial appeal link will be in there talking about that final, where you can even click that link and also vote as well. And the vote ends deadline noon on June the 5th. Once again, got to give Jacob Wilt and the rest of the staff members at Commercial Appeal, board meetings or whatever, that how they came up with this idea is a good idea, and I hope they bring it back next year so we can come back next year and do what we do and bring an even better show for you. To no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I like to do this type of content that's going to help people. I like to do this type of content to where I can come up with new ideas, creative ideas that will have value for others out there. We're going to keep on doing it. We're going to keep on shaking them trees, see what's going to fall out of them. We're going to keep on communicating and talking to people and building the relationships that we need to build. We're going to do our food reviews. While we're going through phase 1 of my food reviews that I'm doing, we're getting ready to kick into phase 2. I have phase 3 to do as well. So we're going to change and evolve, and we're going to do the best that we can from the style and mannerism that comes from yours truly. And I thank him so much, as well, to be able to take out the time to come and do these episodes with me. So you'll be seeing more of us on that level there. There's going to be times he's going to be busy. There's going to be times I'm going to be busy, but we're going to make some time still. It's a whole lot of work me and that man got to do. So be sure go to his channel. Don't just check him out. Subscribe, like, comment. Be part of the community. Be part of the team. You know, you got a lot of powerful information right there. We did that video right there where that was a mini interview that I did with him, moment to moment interview, and then I did an interview with him.
I think everybody should take this opportunity right here to participate in this barbecue bracket thing, man. On top of just being able to vote, it gives you a good insight on all the barbecue restaurants that are in the city. So it has a long list of them. Some you know, some you don't know, some you haven't been to in a while that you need to check out, get updated on. Just don't leave it to those same little barbecue places that you've been hearing about. If you don't know about this establishment, take time out your day to go and check them out. They might be something that you enjoy. So get out of your comfort zone sometime and experience new flavors and new.
I couldn't have said that better myself. I thank him for being able to share that information there. And like I said, it's going to be powerful information that's going to be coming, ladies and gentlemen, for you. So I'm getting ready and get off the air right now. I apologize. My camera not focusing and all of that. That's something that happens from time to time, probably because I'm moving around and all of that. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we see you in the next video.